kind of the goals with multiplayer this time around, because there's a huge embracing of the specialist design in this chapter of Black Ops.
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. I mean, specialists play a big role in throughout the game, obviously. But in this context, though, what we're talking about is taking the specialists that we started with in Black Ops 3. There are new specialists. All specialists are rebuilt or reimagined where they need to be, and everything they have is very grounded and realistic. It's not fantastical in any way. And the main motivation for all this, though, leads to the point where the game is a very tactical style game. It's a 5-on-5, not a 6-on-6. Team composition matters because you cannot, have 15 ruins in the game, right? You can have one ruin on your side. So how that team kind of aligns up with the specialist and what they can do is simplified and pure, but it's still very much a Call of Duty game. You still have create a class. You're still selecting weapons in your attachments. You still have wild cards and score streaks. And all the things that you'd expect out of a Black Ops or a Call of Duty game is all there still. But the specialists bring that tactical aspect of the game, slow the game pace down a little bit, create decision-making in that loop with the healing as its own mechanic now. The Fog of War changes and a lot more.
Right, so you talked about customization. So the Pick-10 returns. Can you tell us how it's changing and how it's staying the same in Black Ops 4?
Yeah, so there's a couple at the highest level. The main change is that every weapon, right, is... If you play a lot of Call of Duty, you would know that like every assault rifle pretty much has the same attachments across the base. So one change is that every single weapon is its own little character or brand, or we say snowflake. And it makes it like this kind of unique element of it to itself, right? It's like, this is the rifle that is good for, say, long range. So no other rifle can ever be as good at that long range as that rifle is when it's got all the attachments. That's sort of at that weapon level. And then more specifically, if you look down, because you don't have what we call right bumper or left bumper, right, or R1 or L1 kind of throws, what you end up with is a category of things called sort of equipment, and in this case gear, and gear is very high power band item stuff. So things like the ability to take armor onto the character, right, or the ability to do stim shot, which is heal yourself faster. So these are like super, what we like to say, super chunky choices in the creative class system that matter. And then, on top of this, every specialist has an item in creative class that no other character in creative class can use. So in the case of like Ruin, it's the grapple gun. That's a choice. But you can actually opt out of that and go for more traditionalized equipment as well. So creative class is Pick-10. It's what you know, but the gear category that changes in how we think about weapons, and then the ability to actually opt out of certain types of categories of equipment that only your character or your specialist could have in the first place. All that's a way you evolve Create a Class and Pick-10 to service the specialist design, to service the tactical game.
Nice. So you've talked about customization and really focusing on Black Ops 4, really boiling down to what the core Black Ops experiences is. And so you've added this new mechanic where there's no more auto heal.
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, a couple different things about this. I mean, there's a character that is a medic class, and that helps other players heal. Healing itself has changed in the way that you mentioned, in which it doesn't just auto-regen as you would expect it to. You actually have to initiate that with L1. Yeah, that's right. I love that. For those of you at home who can't see the nice motion animated in person, live on the studio set. And then finally, you have more health in the first place. You have 150 health instead of a base 100. And these are all parts of like, this seems like a simple thing, like 50 hit points. What's 50 hit points, right? In Call of Duty, it's 2 shots in a heartbeat. But what that does is allow us to kind of nuance the weapons in ways that you wouldn't necessarily get, right? Where the damage hits are and, the ranges at which they can do. So the healing mechanic is a part of the tactical decision-making experience of playing the game. So when you heal yourself, maybe you go right then, maybe you go in. You don't really walk into Call of Duty combat with less than full health, right? You go in, you either live or you die. Sometimes you take damage and you heal automatically, but here now it's a choice because you have to initiate that, and that takes time.
I'm kind of a nerd for class design in games, and the specialists, as you were saying, lean in a lot to that. And I'm wondering if you like rewind the clock and go back early in your development cycle on Black Ops 4, what does it look like inside the studio when you guys are trying to create very unique feeling, classes or specialists?
Yeah, so
please.
Yeah, sorry, I was winding back the clock and going, oh man.
Yes, the beard is getting shorter and shorter. Yep, rolling into your face.
My hair was there.
It's getting longer and longer.
It's like I had hair, and everything was fine.
Yeah, everything's fine. Everything's fine.
It's actually pretty fascinating because we actually start with these really high-level places. Like, if you look at the very first design document for Ruin, right? Ruin is in fact a barbarian character. He's like, you have pictures from the internet or whatever that are influences for you, right? It's just a sort of, it's an inspiration for, you know, his personality or his build, his physical build, or what kinds of things that, you know, barbarians would use for weapons. Like, what is the 21st, second, third century version of those things? So, it's you know, when you have create a class, it's hard to call them a class design.
Right. Sure.
But the point is that they all have something like this. They all have some place they started, which might have been, you know, techno mages, barbarians, and all the things that you would geek out on, sir.
I am already geeking out. Also, I'm hoping that you just put a barbarian in the game anyway and see how long you can last.
I think Ruin lasted
enough,
pretty long. He's a very Call of Duty barbarian.
Yeah, there you go. There's a lot more to talk about. We don't have forever to talk about it, but I want to get to a little bit of the zombies experience. You have,
I like
you were saying,
zombies.
you like zombies, and you have 3 massive zombies experiences. You have Voyage of Despair,
Yes.
Roman numeral 9,
Yeah, Roman numeral 9.
and Blood of the Dead. You want to tell us a little bit about...
Blood of the Dead. Oh my God, so many fun stories about Mob of the Dead, Blood of the Dead, and people who would go on fans like go on. They get behind the newscasters and they'd hold up remaster Mob of the Dead signs and like sneak behind, right? I mean, our fans are
Vocal.
fun. How's that? They're fun. Voyage of the Dead is a pretty crazy adventure. It takes place on the RMS Titanic. If you'd like to understand how the Titanic actually sunk,
Yes.
it was zombies.
Historical
zombies.
fact.
Historical fact.
No
It was
iceberg.
zombies, period. Right? You know, 9 I have to dodge around the corners of because I really like how crazy the fans are going for the video that's associated with that thing, Roman numeral 9, and what that would look like. Is it all melee combat? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know.
I'm sure that I will read your Reddit opinions soon enough.
Soon, very soon.
Yeah. And then obviously Blood of the Dead is remastered, Mob of the Dead, with some stuff, some zombie stuff that you might expect, zombie things. And holy cow, man! This thing needs to get in your hands tomorrow, like it's ASAP. Like
All right,
zombies
well,
fans.
don't have to wait that
Coming
long.
to no, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. And then wait. At the highest of the highest level, tell me a little bit about Blackout and kind of the goal with that.
Sure, right. You cannot, you know, if you're going to go down this road, right, if you're going to open this thing up. Call of Duty fans, they want and they demand and they deserve new experiences. You don't do this if you can't do it in the Call of Duty way. You certainly don't do it if you can't do it in the Black Ops way. And this particular Battle Royale experience is very Blackout, very Black Ops, which is why it's called Blackout, because of the influence that the previous games have played on the destinations inside the level, the characters that you can actually play as, the vehicles that you actually will use, the weapons and how they apply. And if you're a Battle Royale fan, then, and we are, like, I'm like a super Battle Royale nerd right now. I just love it. And all of them, right? We played some new ones on a Saturday night as a team. But Call of Duty has some special stuff. The fluidity of the control, the mechanics, the refinement of those things, the polish they can offer, the experience of what weapons would mean in a universe like that, how to apply them, the design expertise. There is a lot, and for us, I think Blackout is this opportunity to really take and make something new with the fans, right? What fans with them, not just we had this crazy idea and out came zombies, right? Which is what happened. This is something you can start really from the beginning and be like, okay, we know what this is like, and you know what this is like, but what is the Call of Duty version of that like? And what is the Black Ops version of that like? And that's why I'm so stoked. And I can't talk about it because when we do talk about it, we're really going to be talking about it because we're going to talk about how does this thing evolve with you, the fans, because that's what that thing is, for sure.
Awesome.
For sure.
Good answer. You avoided the spoilers.
Yep, that's the perfect way to end it, man. David Vonderhaar, the studio design director of Treyarch. I remembered all the words.
That's a lot.
David, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for showing off Black Ops 4. And
Are you guys going to close the show next?
Maybe.
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 Can we like, can I close the show, like, but not really?
You
can
how about you
fake
pretend
close-
it?
yeah.
Do
All
like
right.
do like
Right
a
there.
quick pretend of the show.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. It's PlayStation Live.
Live from E3.
PlayStation Live at E3. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh my gosh, it
That
was
was
so
perfect.
professional.
You guys are out of a job.
It was perfect. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. And everyone at home, we are almost done with our day 1 of programming. We have more tomorrow starting at 10 a.m. Pacific, but until then, stay with us for just a few minutes.